Hello! Today I want to show you all the new features that we introduced in the new version 2.3 of our finite element simulation software NACS. So I want to start with the new features in the mechanical domain. So we introduced absorbing boundary conditions for mechanical simulations. Those can be used as free field boundary condition, and they might be useful in case that you want to simulate just parts of a larger system and you want to handle reflections at the simulation boundary. As example, we can take, for example, a pipe or an exhaust gas system where you just want to simulate a small segment and you don't want to have any reflections at the mechanical simulation boundary. So there you just specify those absorbing boundary conditions, and the arriving waves will just travel along and will not be reflected. So that will simplify your simulation process. Then we increased the performance of NACS, especially for nonlinear mechanical simulations. We were able to increase the performance quite a lot, and also for the magnetic field for the implementation of biosavart coils. So there we were able to introduce an OpenMP parallelization, which increases performance tremendously. Then we also have added a new feature that allows you to specify the model depth of 2D plane simulations. Previously we always assumed that those simulations have a model depth of 1 meter. Now you can adjust it to whatever matches the real situation best. Another thing that we introduced is you can now specify the integration order of your computational domains and can defer by physics which integration order you want to choose. As an example, we can take the vibroacoustic case where you've got a flat plate and you want to see the sound radiation of that plate. Maybe you just mesh the plate and also the acoustic grid with first order elements, and now that that mesh file is available, you can just take it and specify in the software that you want to use, for example, second order elements for the plate itself, and let's say linear, so first order elements for the acoustics, because this is sufficient, and so this is what you can easily specify using NACS 2.3. So those were the changes in the NACS core. So the next step I want to show is the changes in the graphical user interface. There at first we added more functionality and more features to the model viewer. The model viewer is now capable of turning off all groups by default when you load the mesh. So since otherwise you could see some artifacts in the model visualization, so now there's a flag where you can automatically turn off all groups in the background model visualization. Another thing is that helps users quite much in specifying boundary conditions is the vector error visualization for vector boundary conditions, for examples like displacements or accelerations or forces, so the user can immediately see in which directions the force vector will point to, and also you can see how the dependency on spatial variables like XYZ and Cartesian coordinate systems will take influence on the vectors, on the vector distribution. We also introduced that visualization for flow profiles, so the user can easily see how the flow profile for this boundary condition will look like, and you can easily adapt the shape of the flow profile that way. Another thing that we introduced is the visualization of material coordinate systems. That means when you assign a material to a certain region, for example for piezoelectric transducers, you will now be able to see the coordinate system that you are using and also the material directions, so that you can always define the polarization direction of that piezoelectric transducer in the right direction, and will not have to simulate and find out after your simulation that maybe you took the wrong direction. Okay, Another thing that we introduced is the support for non-conforming grid interfaces in the graphical user interface. So in NACS 2.2 we already introduced that feature as pure scripting feature. Now it's also available in the graphical user interface, and we support the user by you choose at first a certain group that you want to use as interface, and then only those groups are still shown to the user as target groups that will match the location of the first group. Another thing that we introduced is, of course, the setting of the model depth, as already explained in the NACS core features, and also the specification of the grid order can be carried out directly in the graphical user interface without large efforts. You just click on the region and can easily modify the integration order that you wish to use in your simulation. So finally, we have also updated our Python framework. Some modules have been updated, like for example NumPy, SciPy, Matplotlib, or Spider, our Python file editor. We also provide right now a package manager, pip, that allows the user to install other Python modules using the Python index, and you can easily install it by yourself into your NACS installation. Finally, we added a new module called OpenPyXL that allows reading and writing Excel files starting Excel 2003 and higher. XML files are supported using that module. So those were the main changes of the new version NACS 2.3. Thanks for watching, and see you again.